All right, welcome to another episode of the Freezin NFC North Podcast, episode 86. Justin Fields trade, Caleb Williams pro day, and other division moves. A lot of things to talk about tonight. I am NFL Outdated, and you can find me here on the YouTube. You can find me on Twitter X, and you can find us on Freezin, Freezin #4 pod on the TikTok, as long as it's still there. Is it still an entity? You can find us there. A lot of great clips from the show there. And we are joined for the first time by another Viking representative, Tony. Thanks for joining us. And where can everyone find you as we get started?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on, first of all. Yeah, excited to be on. You can find me on Twitter, X, whatever they're calling it now, at Steggy Stories, Steggie Stories. I'm also on the Skol Purple podcast, so you can find me and us, I should say, on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts.
All great stuff. And I see you have the glasses, so you're looking forward, quarterback. I can see you're excited for the future for those Vikings.
I am. You know, the way I look at it, 2024, this is a building year. I know they're trying to stay competitive, but if you really are a fan, you realize that this year is more about establishing pieces. So,
absolutely. Well, talk about someone who is always competitive. Welcome again. Where can we find you? Seventh letter.
Seventh letter G on top of the NFC North. Raining. You can find me on Twitter X, seventh letter 4. Same old G on Instagram and Facebook. Let's get
awesome. And hopefully we should have the Rev Trev NFL coming soon for our Packer insights. But no one wants to hear about Packers, do we? Nah, not really.
Nah, not really.
It's old news.
Way too much about
he on his Marvin Harrison Jr. shit right now.
Oh, I didn't even see
no pro days and no nothing. You ain't saying nothing, man.
Okay, yes.
He think he winning the Super Bowl this year. He really do in his heart of hearts.
He does. You know, so that's why it's my job as the Bear fan. It's my job to throw cold water on this Jordan Love hype train, this Jordan Love MVP season. You know, Tony, you're not are you buying into Jordan Love at all?
No, I mean, not 100%.
I knew I liked you.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was some things that we saw, but to me, it was where I think we saw some really like highlight plays. There was a lot of off script stuff, and I don't know. I just think one season's too much of a small sample size for anyone, and it didn't start out well. I mean, I'm glad they finished well. But
I'm not.
I was trying to be courteous. Yeah, I hated it actually, but at the end of the day, no, it's one season. Now, look, I mean, the way you look at it, and I don't care if it's the Packers or any other team, it could be the Vikings. It's just like the Vikings when Kevin O'Connell seemed to kind of have an offense that was like, oh, this is something kind of new. Well, you have a whole season on tape now. So now every team in the league has a full season of tape of Jordan Love. We'll see how he handles that next year.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show as well. And it's my opportunity to continue to throw some water on that as well. Because I mean, he did well, and I'm just not ready to crown him. I'm not Dennis Green crowning the Bears who we thought they were, right? Seventh letter. He is not who you thought he was yet.
I think he's good. Unfortunately, it's like I said last week, man. It's not that he played well; it's who he played well against. And when he got hot, as the season got tougher, so he beat the Lions, he beat the Chiefs, he beat the Cowboys, and he played well in all those games. When he was learning and taking his bumps in the beginning of the year, even against y'all the first game, I wasn't really impressed, even though they beat the brakes off y'all. I just figured, because he was below 50%, 60% in that game. He was still, couldn't get above 60. Of course, he waited to play us. We beat them the first time, but he was above 60%, and he had a couple more bad games. But after Thanksgiving, barring that Giants game and maybe even a Panthers game, I wasn't too impressed with. But he played well against the the Chiefs, he was lights out against the Cowboys. It was hilarious. So I do think they will have more tape on them, but I mean, they had tape on Aaron Rodgers too. And the way just his skill set is very, very tough. You know, that quick release, being able to throw from off of any base, like that's hard. That's tough to beat. Now you can beat them, you can beat them, but you got to have a certain type of defense. You got to be sticky on those routes that they run and scheming people open. So they tough. I mean, unfortunately, like life ain't fair.
Speaking of someone tough with a certain skill set, welcome back in. Where can everyone find you, Reverend? Good Reverend.
The Reverend.
Hey, good to see you guys. It's RevTrev NFL on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, and we had a chance over the weekend to do an emergency Justin Fields trade podcast to kind of let it all out. That was helpful, and then I had my fun video. I don't even know what constitutes as viral, but some people were calling me out and saying it was pathetic, and I said, hey, it was fun. I had fun. I had to let it all out. How about that?
You're a true fan.
I thought it was excellent.
It was emergency, man. Emergency with an M. Emergency.
Well, let's, obviously, Trevor, we had a chance to talk about Justin Fields trade. So I want to give Tony and Seventh Letter a chance to kind of weigh in on that as well. So, Tony, what were your thoughts on the Justin Fields trade to the Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as just take away the Bears and the fact that they're in the division with my preferred team, I think it's a good place for Fields to be. I think Wilson ultimately has got one. I don't know. We just don't know what Wilson has left. But for him to have a chance to be able to sit and presumably sit behind Wilson, obviously he's going to get great coaching with Tomlin. So that's a huge plus for him. It's a good organization as a whole. I think it's a good move for Justin. If I'm a Bears fan, I don't know. I'm in the camp a little bit where I think that Caleb Williams, assuming that I run with the low-hanging fruit that they're taking Caleb Williams, I just don't know. I think, to me, Caleb Williams seems like a guy that could be really good, but anytime you have this hype train around a guy like this, it just, to me, screams, I hate to use the B word, but it's just like at least bust to the degree where he doesn't live up to the massive amount of hype that he's getting. And I don't know. I mean, for Fields, I think it's great. For the Bears, I'd be very cautious.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up the stuff with Caleb Williams. We'll get to that in a second. Also, Jalen Johnson had some interesting comments, presumably about him as well, that we'll get to as well. Seventh Letter, obviously, you had talked about for a while that, Justin needed a fresh start. And you're a fan of Tomlin and fan of that fit then?
Very much so. And also pairing him with Arthur Smith, like that can get ugly if it works out. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he can show him how to see the field finally. And that's always been the knock on him, even coming out of college. He's always held onto the ball forever. And unfortunately, he didn't have the chance to have this pretty good receiving core that you guys have now. So that's sad, but he'll be okay. I think he'll be with some real coaching, a good organization that really, really does a lot of great developing of players. They're a little bit more loyal than the Bears is right now. And I think given that the Bears weren't as loyal to him while he was there, they did do him a solid by taking a 6th-round pick when they could have gotten more. I heard there were like 4 other teams that was looking at him, and they had better compensation for the Bears, but they did right by him, and kudos to Poles for that. And he's going to have to hear it from the media and Chicago fans, but I think Justin Fields deserved that because he was underserved in that organization. He came into a shit show with Nagy, 3 offensive coordinators, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's not fair to any young player that's trying to develop and was a project when he was drafted. So I hope that he goes there and does well, and Tomlin really shows him how to play quarterback in the NFL because he has all the talent in the world. He's a good guy, number one. He's one of those people that you root for. But I don't want like, people that are bad at their job to take such an awesome person and football player confidence away. I hope they give it back to him. So, I mean, I'm happy for him. I know you are too, and you want to see him do well. So
I am, yeah.
Get out my division because you always had your best games against us. So peace. Peace.
So Rev Trev, any kind of final comments on the Justin Fields stuff?
Yeah, I just think it's weird that he wanted to go there with the Steelers and how they allowed him to do that. They didn't do what was best for their franchise. I think that's really strange in the way that, like, there's rumors that he could have got more. Maybe it's just smokescreen because it doesn't make any sense. Why would Poles do that? It's like you can get potentially a 4th, but you're like, if you could get a 4th, why wouldn't you do that and trade him somewhere else? Because going to, like, I think the Steelers, no matter who starts at quarterback, are going to make the playoffs again. They're that good with their running game. Their defense is still solid. So that's a win for them. I would not be surprised if Justin Fields beats out Russell Wilson in camp. Like, I still believe that Justin Fields is a very good quarterback. Russell Wilson has potential to continue to, like, kind of rejuvenate his career. So I think it's going to be a great fight at camp for whoever they start is going to be, I think they're going to put the guy who is the best quarterback for their team going forward. Awesome for them to have 2 guys like that. So I still think it's really weird that all this stuff's going around like, oh, they did him a solid. I don't think, like, what team, like, at the end of the day, you did him a solid. You drafted him, you paid him a lot of money, well, a decent amount of money, and you sent him somewhere he wanted to go. Cool. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of smokescreen though.
Well, I wanted to speak to that a little bit, and I can see that obviously, being what actually did happen or has happened. Part of it, the problem with the Bears, and people have not been wrong when they've said the organization has been trash. It has been for so long. Like, we develop players and then don't sign them, and so that's why I was so glad they signed Jalen Johnson and, the homegrown players. Once they play well, you want to reward them. And so the locker room, just the whole culture has not been there for the Bears for a long time. So part of this is, and hopefully it works out, that Poles, wants to be around long term as the general manager. He has to develop that just winning culture and positive culture within the locker room, especially with how beloved Justin Fields was in that locker room and still is. These players, they have each other's numbers. They're texting, and so, like, if he's just about business, then it could hurt that locker room overall. So it does suck, yeah. And especially, this, Trevor, like on Twitter, X, whatever, everyone's kind of, coming at me to say, Justin Fields only for a 6th, LOL. I'm like, it is what it is, I still think he has all the talent in the world. And the Steelers actually have been my other team since the 90s when the Bears did stink, since they're like same jersey colors as my Iowa Hawkeyes. So I'm okay with that. I love Tomlin. He's out of the division, just like you said, 7th letter. So I like that.
I think that it's that's a good point about, like, doing right by him to keep the morale of the players, so they don't feel like y'all did my man dirty. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good point. But I don't think that you're going to do it with Eberflus. So I'm not really worried about the Bears yet until he's gone, because at the end of the day, he's not a motivator, and that dry shit he got going on there, I don't know who's that is motivating. That's the difference between Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Like, they kind of on one accord. And Dan Campbell's a lot of things, but he's one of the best motivators out there. You know what I'm saying? And he motivates the team. We play to the whistle. You guys got a lot of talent on defense. A whole bunch of talent on defense. Hopefully a personality like Caleb Williams doesn't mess that up. I'm watching him today after his pro day, and he's just talking, and I'm like, he's gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way. Now, I'm with people having confidence. He has supreme confidence in his abilities, and he'll let you know it. You know what I'm saying?
So that's a great transition. So I don't know if you guys saw this. Jalen Johnson on the Bears locker room, he talked about, he said, you just humble yourself coming into the building. You can't bring that Hollywood stuff into the building, especially with guys who've played the game at a high level for consecutive years. I list Tremaine, TJ, Keenan Allen. Basically they're going to see through that. So that's what I'm worried about. Is it just, and I think when you look at, we talked about, with the Steelers, Russ Wilson, right? He kind of that let's ride stuff. I think the players saw through that. So I don't want it just to be a facade. I want him to be a good ball player. Everyone's kind of like tripping all over themselves to say good things about him. I want to hear some of the negative things, like Tony. I mean, obviously, as a Vikings fan, you're kind of monitoring the QB landscape. Do you see anything kind of negative other than kind of this other stuff from Caleb, or what are your thoughts?
I just think in the NFL, especially at the quarterback position, accountability is huge, right? So you look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, right? The guy has through the roof confidence, right? But he'd also be the first guy to tell you that he makes mistakes, right? He made a mistake here. He didn't make the right throw. He didn't make the right read, but he's still uber confident. The guys that you see flame out quick in this league, especially at the quarterback position, are guys that have sky-high confidence but can't take the accountability. And I mean, I'm just thinking like a guy like Keenan Allen. I can't see Keenan putting up with that for too long, especially if Caleb comes in with this, and I hate to make it sound so childish, but kind of like I'm better than everybody, because he hasn't proven anything. The last time I was on this podcast, you asked me, who would I fear more as a Vikings fan, Justin Fields or Caleb Williams? And I said, as of today, Justin Fields all day long. You want to know why? Because I know Justin Fields can play football at the NFL level. I don't know if Caleb Williams can. I don't know if he can step on the field and get a first down yet. So until he proves it to, obviously, we got fans and organization, but until he proves it to his teammates that he can do it in a game that matters, I mean, you gotta temper it a little bit. So I like a guy with confidence, but you gotta earn it. It's not just given to you.
So I love that you brought that up, because, obviously, Trevor, all these Packer fans are telling me that busting Fields, or even the Viking fans, we got Viking Dave, busting Fields, busting this, and, but Steeler fans and all of these analysts are saying, oh, wow, look at all this talent in the quarterback room for the Steelers. I mean, Trevor, are you with Tony to say, hey, Justin Fields can be a good quarterback, or has been?
Yeah, so I think it comes down to you have to have context, because it's too low-hanging fruit and it's just inaccurate. The facts are there. Justin Fields has never won a game against the Packers. That's the fact, right?
Keep bringing that up. Thanks.
Here's what's not the fact that nobody talks about. The first 2 years, you surrounded him with nobody. You had no weapons for him. You had no O-line, and you had terrible coaching. This year, This year, you finally put some weapons around. Your defense started getting better, but you had Eberflus and you kept him.
Mm-hmm.
What baffles me about the Bears. It doesn't make any sense in the world why you would keep him. We knew Joe Barry was bad, and he kind of had a little bit good gain at the end, and we let him go. You guys kept the quarterback. He also said, Justin was the one saying, you guys are in my head. Like, I don't know what is going on. I don't feel comfortable. Once they adjusted to him, he started playing better. So I think this is why I'm calling the Pittsburgh Steelers the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they stole Justin Fields for a 6th-round pick. I think he's way better than that. I think he's a 2nd or 3rd round trading value. That's what should have done. The rest of the league does not like Justin Fields, does not believe in Justin Fields. Teams that needed quarterbacks, I have no idea why they wouldn't have given him more than a 6th-round pick. You should have come and did that. So I think it's a great move for the Steelers. I think now with good coaching, you're going to see Justin Fields and his potential. Listen, if he does not produce in Pittsburgh, he's a bust.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would totally agree with that. But the one point that I think not a lot of people are talking about, I believe it's like May 2nd that the Steelers now have to decide on a contract for next year. So that might have scared teams away to say, okay, well, we don't want to commit anything yet. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. If maybe Justin Fields takes a little bit lower of a deal, or maybe a lot lower of a deal that Jordan Love did, because Jordan Love kind of bet on himself for that. Obviously now he's going to be coming up for a deal here soon too. But I mean, we'll kind of see that might have played into it. He is, there's so much talent there. But like, I mean, you guys remember me a couple years ago, in kind of where Tony is at now, kind of like, okay, this development year, with Justin Fields, and like, I just want to see growth, and then they won, was it 4 games, and got the top pick and all that. And so I think I was at that point, but now with this receiving core, and kind of you guys know from my love for Justin Fields, right? I'm going to be expecting Caleb right away to come in. I don't know, maybe 8-9 wins. I mean, we'll see. It's set up maybe even. What's that?
I'm praying for Zach Wilson
to be where with the Vikings.
Go for him to play like Zach Wilson. I'm praying for that.
Okay, so this is going to be the first year that I may now, if they do end up going Caleb Williams, which obviously everyone's talking about, right? It's a put up or shut up, right? I mean, this is kind of like, he better beat the Packers. Like, I don't care how many wins, at least beat the Packers once, but he has to do something. And so that's going to be interesting. I did want to bring up Tony. Let's see. Mike had an interesting one here about what if the Vikings went and traded up for the 2nd overall pick and got Caleb. That would be wild. That would just, I mean, that's not going to happen. Is it, Tony?
No, they'd have to give up way too much capital. At least from my standpoint, I don't think it's worth it. I mean, I already kind of showed my hand here. I'm not as big on Caleb Williams as some other people are. So for me personally, I would be pretty afraid of what they'd have to get up to get to number 2. And then on top of it, I wouldn't be in love with that pick. I'd like him more than Drake May, but that's not saying much, because Drake May, we already talked about who Drake May is going to be, which is Zach Wilson. So,
Wow.
I thought we have Zach Wilson coming up. Hopefully, the Vikings are going to select JJ, who is Zach Wilson.
No, I think I'm. And look, I'm originally from North Carolina, so look, I want my I want my Tar Heels to do well, but taking a quarterback from UNC is it's not good. It's not a good idea. Don't do it.
So who do you want, Tony?
I'd say I'd take McCarthy at this point. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd love Jaden Daniels. That's who I'd love, but I don't think they're going to get him there. I think I saw the last mock draft I was looking over was Patriots taking Drake May at 3, and I love that pick because I think he's going to be terrible. Well,
Really?
Okay, but
actually,
so what about
I'll
the
give you this.
rumors?
Will he be better than? I already forgot his name. He was so terrible. Who did they just ship off from New
Mac
England?
Sam Howell?
Yeah, Mac Jones. Will he be
Mac
better
Jones,
than
yeah.
Mac Jones? Maybe. That's
Okay,
about how
yes.
high I am.
What's about all that? There's tons of rumors that you're trading down for the third pick with the New England Patriots. And then if you do that, you're either getting May or Daniels or JJ. Like some people think you're trading down to 3 to get McCarthy on purpose over May, which you're saying you would rather JJ over May. But that's what a lot of the rumors are saying right now, that you're going to trade down to number 3. So if you do that and you get JJ there, are you happy with that?
I'm okay with that. I'd rather take him at 5, but
They ain't Patriots not trading out. Patriots ain't trading out of that spot. They ain't got
You don't
no
think
quarterback.
so? Yeah, they need a quarterback.
They need a
That's-
quarterback.
So I know, but what if they think that they're going to get a different? What if they want Drake? They want May instead and go down to, you know what I mean? Like
The top, and you're not. What pick does the Cardinals have?
4. They have 4.
4.
All right, 4. So they got to get
And
to
the Chargers
4.
are at
So
5.
yeah,
Mhm.
all right. So out of May, homeboy from LSU and Williams is going to be the top 3 picks. It's going to be 3 quarterbacks straight. They all need quarterbacks. So and this is probably, I don't know what next year is looking like, but this isn't the Patriots of old. They're not going under that Bill Belichick type of mind state where they think they can find a quarterback, luck up and find one in the later rounds. Like
They need one.
it's more Gerard Mayo. He's kind of in there because in Bill Belichick's contract, he had to get hired as head coach. So he has to do well. He's going to draft a quarterback this year. He has to.
yeah. And to be clear, I just want to clarify. I think some of my reasoning, and one of the bigger parts of my reasoning with Drake May, the numbers look great. I watched a lot of Drake May last year. I get that his 2023 or 2022 is better than 23. But boy, when I watched him, it's just, look, I've watched a lot of tape on a lot of guys, and usually the guys that come out and play really well at the NFL level, even when they have bad games, right? There's that something where you're like, all right, this guy's got a little something. He just doesn't pass the eye test. It's like vanilla ice cream. Like, is it good? Yeah, it's good. Is it anything special? No. And I think that's my feeling.
Tony, are you sure it's not because you're wearing JJ sunglasses?
It may play into it.
Okay, but so let me just get this straight. If you're hoping for JJ, what happens if you don't trade up? And so the 3 guys go and someone jumps up and gets JJ. What are you guys going to do then? Who are you hoping for if JJ goes?
That's a really good. I think, to be quite honest with you, I think what the Vikings will probably do in that scenario, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, because if I look at the moves they've made so far, I mean, obviously it's all going to depend on how the board falls, right? So I'm not trying to, I don't have a crystal ball, but I would say let's go with what we think is going to happen, and they're just stuck at 11, right? Like they're stuck there. I'd actually be kind of okay with them trying to trade back at that point and accumulate more picks. Just because we've done a pretty good job in free agency. I like the vision. I see what they're doing. If we get into that kind of, for lack of a better word, shitty scenario, I would rather see them trade back than reach, because the last time we reached for a quarterback, we ended up with Christian Ponder, and we can see how that worked out.
Yeah, that Christian Ponder action. That's what JJ McCarthy is, man. Christian Ponder. Yes, he is. He's exactly like that.
I mean, I didn't realize I was looking at some of his stats. Like he was 6'3", so like I mean he's taller than Caleb. I mean, which at the 6'1", I mean that worries me a little bit about Caleb. He didn't even pass for 3,000 yards. Of course, he wasn't really asked to. Part of that, having Blake Corum and everything like that. So it's going to be interesting if the Vikings or any team would trade 2 first-round picks or whatever to trade up for the 4th best quarterback.
No, I don't think so. I think Michael Penix is better right now than JJ is. I think maybe even Bo Nix. But he's not like, I watch Michigan games. He's not that good. Now, what might get him drafted a little earlier is because he's 20. He's 20 years old and he does have the tools. But if you watch Michigan games, I mean, other than him running, nothing really, he does have a strong arm, but nothing really pops out to me. It's that run game, that defense, that O-line. Like, that's what you see with Michigan, the defense. Like, not him. And I think like somebody gonna do something dumb, but he's a 2nd-round quarterback all the way, in my opinion.
So it's interesting, this time of year, like quarterbacks get hyped up. Like last year, this time it was Will Levis. Oh, he might be the top pick.
Malik.
Yep. So it was all of that, and then Will Levis ended up being a 2nd-round pick. So like I feel like there is a lot of smokescreen in this cycle. And some people fall in love with certain quarterbacks because of certain throws, and I think it sounds like the Jets fell in love with Zach Wilson on the pro day because of like that one really long throw that he had, and so like I don't know. I mean, you just Vikings.
I think what we have to do as fans, and to be courteous and to give some kudos to our fellow Packer fan in the room here. You have to be able to trust your scouts, because if your scouts do a good job, they're going to see tools that can be moldable and can what's the word I'm looking for? They can kind of nurture and grow into something more and tangible in the league. The nice thing for the Vikings right now is that we're not looking for a guy to come in and start, right? To be honest with you, and it's not like I'm head over heels about Darnold. Believe me, I'm not. But I want a guy to sit for a year at least. So at the end of the day, that's what you have to hope for. I'm not saying McCarthy's that. I'm just saying, as a whole, that's where a lot of these really successful teams thrive, is because their scouts are so good. They can see the tools that are available and can be developed. Versus guys that are, again, we'll keep using this term, the low-hanging fruit, that go, yeah, these guys are the elite college quarterbacks. Well, if that's the case, why isn't Case Keenum in the Hall of Fame? Because he was an amazing college quarterback. He jumped off the page. His stats are insane. But the fact is, it's not. Yeah. So all I'm saying is that that's what you have to trust, is that your organization, your scouting department does a good job of going, this guy has something. He maybe played in a system that didn't really cater to the talent that he has, but we can mold that, and this guy could be really, really good. That's what you hope for. Now, as a Vikings fan, I'm going to take a little hit here. Our scouting department hasn't been the greatest. So I have to trust that the new regime that we have is going to be better than the old regime.
Great point. And so, my question here is going to be, if the Vikings get this wrong, I mean, can the Vikings screw this up? Because, and I will admit, as a Bear fan, I do love Justin Fields, but by them trading him away, and obviously they're admitting there was a screw up or they didn't do it right. Obviously that happened with Trubisky, and that continued to set the franchise back, a few years. And now, thankfully, because of a great trade last year, we're in position to take one of the best quarterbacks, obviously, that maybe has come out in, I don't know, 100 years or whatever, what everyone's talking about. But if the Vikings, make the wrong choice here, whatever it is, Tony, do you think like this will set the franchise back at all? Or are you worried at all that they're going to make a misstep here?
Well, of course, I'm a Vikings fan, so I'm always worried they're going to make a misstep, whatever they do. But I am happy so far with the new regime that's come in. I mean, the first draft was a little rough, but outside of that, what I've liked so far is there's a very clear vision as to what this team is trying to do. the key component there is going to be hitting on that quarterback piece, because that's essentially what they're doing. The best friend of a young quarterback is a good enough defense to keep you in games, and a decent O-line and a decent run game. I guarantee you see the Vikings draft at least one running back in this next draft. I mean, obviously, elephant in the room, sorry, Aaron Jones will be with us next year. But, whether he continues on as a Viking after that, I don't know. All I know is that the way they're kind of playing this is we're going to bring a guy in, develop him. We're really looking at 2025 at this point. Do I think the Vikings could be competitive, whatever you want to call that? Sure. I think they maybe could win 8 games next year. Sure. And be in the mix somewhere. But I don't really care. What I care about is looking at the continued vision towards 2025 and beyond.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, they have to hit on that piece. If they don't hit on that piece, honestly, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say the new GM and Kevin O'Connell and his staff are on a short leash. I think that the Wilfs have actually looked almost to a fault, maybe hanging on to things a little too long. But I do know that one thing that we can say as Vikings fans is that our owners, they want to win and they're willing to put the money into it. I mean, it's not like they're stingy when it comes to contracts or trying to make things work, and they give their staff the tools. They just got to do it.
I think Kwesi is if he miss another draft, O'Connell not going nowhere. He's a good coach. Kwesi miss another draft, his ass is out. For real.
I hope not, though. I like him. I have this weird affinity. Maybe it's because he gets so much hate on Vikings Twitter. I like him. So.
Well, speaking of someone that I know, Trevor, that you like, now Jordan Love, this whole thing is going to be coming up pretty soon with his contract. Do you think it's going to get done this summer from what you're seeing? And do you have any reservations at all? This is right now, it's okay for you to say maybe you have some Jordan Love doubts, or you're not really, in love with Jordan quite yet, or any reservations at all. It's okay, Trevor.
No.
I actually don't think there's any pressure for them to sign a contract this summer. So why would they do that? What it is only in the best interest of the team if you let him play under the contract he's got, watch him ball out, and if he doesn't, then you don't offer him the large contract again, and then you're going back to whatever. I think it's a win-win opportunity for the Packers. Now, Jordan Love might want to sign early, might be putting pressure on to sign early, and that's fine. I just think it would be wiser as an organization to just say, hey, you're our guy. You're our franchise guy. We are expecting you to ball out. And trust me, if you do, we're going to pay you some really great money. So he'll be motivated, and you just let him cook and pay him the big bucks. At the end of the day, I mean, is there a possibility that Jordan Love falls off the table and only had one good year? Yes, there's a possibility for that for a lot of quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts was unbelievable, not this season, last season. He didn't look as great for the whole year. So those kind of things happen. Now, I do think he's surrounded by the right guys. I do think he has the right coaching. I think that they've improved their defense and will continue to improve the defense and the offense during the draft. So he's got all the opportunity to continue what he's done. It's going to be up to him and the team whether that happens or not. So I'm not worried about this contract. 1 second, I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Plot twist, Tony. What if Jordan Love plays out his contract and signs with the Vikings?
I mean,
and balls out there.
She's playing the parade.
That is the way. That is the way things are done. So he'll have one good year, and then he'll hit his head against the frozen turf, and that'll be done.
Hey, I was there when that happened. I was there at that game. So watching the Bears win that game. So
yeah, when Brett Favre died on the field.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to say happy about that, but hey, So as we kind of, I wanted to touch base a little bit with you, Seventh Letter. Obviously, it's kind of a interesting, serious situation that's going on with one of your Lions players. Did you want to kind of address that at all?
Well, Jahmyr Gibbs, don't choke your girl.
It wasn't Jahmyr, it was Cam, wasn't it?
Oh, I know. He's not good, so it doesn't matter. Cut him. Get him out
Sutton. Get Cam Sutton out of there.
Him out of Jahmyr Gibbs. If it was somebody else, I'd be a little bit more worried. No, it's Cam Sutton, who is, what he is. He's a bum. So, bye. Cut him.
Well, it's crazy that obviously they haven't found him. They haven't seen him for a while. So that
he was going. He did this on the 7th of March.
Situation. Yeah,
he did it on the 7th of March. He done this a while ago.
Yeah,
he running. He know he fucked up. He probably I think we just paid him 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying?
Money.
Yeah, like get him out of here. Get him out of here. He doesn't deserve to play football. You want to choke women? Just walk out, man. Get out. Get out. It ain't worth it, man. You got too much money to be choking a woman. Too much. Too much. You ain't got to worry about you got the world is your oyster. You're a millionaire. What are you doing? There's nothing she could have done with all that money you got to be choking. Get out of here. Man. Get out of here. He can go. I don't care. It was what you want me to say?
He was
wrong.
Sense.
Yeah, he was wrong, but come on, man. You threw everything away. That's another one of those disingenuous good guys. You know what I mean? I got a problem with disingenuous good guys. I didn't really like him when we first got him. Something about him that I didn't like. And there it goes. He lost his mind. His girl must have went through his girl phone or something and choked her. Whatever.
Now he's in Mexico.
Huh?
Now he's in Mexico.
Good.
Probably.
Bye.
Probably.
Stay in Mexico. Learn Spanish if you don't know it already. Get out of here. Don't come back to Detroit. Wow.
So, Tony, I'm sure there's another player that you don't want to come back to Minnesota for a little while. Kirk Chains. What were your thoughts on him kind of turning in the Falcons?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think I've been pretty vocal. Anybody that's followed me on Twitter, X, on our podcast, I've been saying it for 2 years. Kirk is a good quarterback. He has moments where he can be great, but they're very, very inconsistent, and they're never in the moments that you need him. So at the end of the day, would I have been okay with Kirk coming back to the Vikings? 100%, 1,000%. He would have been an amazing bridge quarterback, but not for 4 years and not for $180 million. No, thank you. See you later. Goodbye. I wish him the best of luck. Seems like, a good guy. But as far as him being on my football field or football team, I don't care. I'm happy he's gone sounds weird because again, I would have been fine with him coming back. It just would have really needed to be at the right price. And one thing about Kirk, he's going to get his money. So
he bought that bag. He don't care nothing about no team. He bought that bag. I knew that. He was looking at the NFL quarterback. He's such a good man. He ain't no good guy.
It's hard to really fault these players from getting their money. Right? I don't know. I like Kirk, but football there's only a finite amount of years that you can play it, and you just never know, one injury away. So he didn't leave my team, so I'm happy he got the bag.
He's going to trap another team. He's going to trap the Falcons too. He's going to be good enough to not want to just kick off to the curb, but he's just good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like he throw a lot of yards in the playoffs come and he'll lose again.
But as long as he's happy, don't you guys think they're going to be happy if he gets them to the playoffs? Like
no.
At the end of the day, the Falcons organization is just garbage. It's garbage. They're not relevant. They're in the worst division in football, and they can't even make the playoffs. So if you go get Kurt and make the playoffs, that's a win. How much money are they going to bring in just for making the playoffs? People buying their jerseys, people getting excited. So does he have to win a Super Bowl? No, he doesn't have to for this organization to win. I think this is a win-win opportunity for the Falcons as long as he's healthy, stays on the field, plays games. He's going to sell a ton of jerseys, and he's a good quarterback. If you think about where he got drafted, and how much money he's made in the NFL, he is an absolutely walking miracle. Like he has cashed in on every expectation, and he's exceeded them all. I mean, he was on pace last year for 6,000 passing yards. I don't care what team you play on. 6,000 passing yards is insane.
He was going to throw 6,000 yards, and JJ was going to catch 4,000 of them. He only throws, and that's what he does, man.
I know.
I think I know why you don't like him 7th letter, because he's a Spartan.
No, it ain't that. It's not that.
All right.
It's not that. I just know. He's a trap. He's a trap. You know what I mean? Like I don't like a lot of quarterbacks that a lot of people like because they don't win when it matters. You know what I'm saying? Like I love Matthew Stafford, and I know why, but not with some of the teams that Kirk Cousins had. I'm sorry, yo. Sorry, they had some pretty good teams. Then the defense just started stinking 2 years ago.
Trevor, what were you saying?
Yeah, don't you think though, like with Drake London and Kyle Pitts, it's like these guys who are highly touted coming in couldn't get a quarterback to get them the ball. You're putting a guy into the spot where, yes, he forced the ball to JJ. He went to the guy who he could trust. If he can have a rapport with those two guys and get their careers going, because right now, Pitts is a bust. He's an absolute bust. All these fantasy guys that have been saying best fantasy tight end, man, I'm selling. I never even wanted the guy because I'm like, he's overrated, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he's not because they just didn't have a quarterback. We're going to find out if he can rejuvenate those two guys' careers. I mean, it's a win-win for Atlanta. And I'm not even a Falcons fan. I'm just saying from the outside looking in, I'm like, man, you got to be happy about this. But I understand 7th letter. What you're saying is like, is he a winner? Is he going to like win the big game? I don't think he's that guy, but maybe he is. I thought he had a chance this year with the Vikings. Too bad he got hurt. I mean, I was nervous about the Vikings. In fact, I predicted the Vikings to win the division.
Why were you nervous about the Vikings? You shouldn't have been nervous about the Vikings.
Oh,
they didn't have no defense.
I know.
They still never fixed the defense.
I thought they had a defense.
No, they had a defensive coordinator. They didn't have nothing out of.
I mean, he did well for a few games, right?
Until we picked that joint apart.
I do like.
And then after that, they got blowed out all the rest of us.
Trevor, I love your points actually about Kirk Cousins because when you think about like quarterback teams, teams that are starving for championships or winning, Vikings are there, and I can understand now, Tony, why you want a lot of Vikings fans were ready to move on because he wasn't going to be the guy to get you to the title. In certain cities, you have to have that quarterback who's going to be able to get you there. And it's probably why the Bears moved on from Fields because they didn't think he was going to be the quarterback to get you there. But in Atlanta, it is almost gravy. I mean, they have another professional team, right down the road in Athens, pretty much in Georgia.
Do you like Dak? Do you like Dak Prescott? Do you like that? You know what Dak is, right? You know what he is. He's good.
A trap.
Regular season. He's another trap.
Yeah.
Now the Cowboys are trapped again. He's Dak Prescott without the mobility. He's the same dude.
Yeah, the same
guy. Same guy. They call Dak Prescott Kirk Cousins with a Jordan deal. Like he's the same guy, yo. The same guy. All wrestling all over the regular season, thousands and thousands of yards, touchdowns, and highlights, and then the playoffs come, and what happens? Every time they'll win one. I think he's won one, right? They pay somebody that won one playoff game $180 million. That's fucking crazy.
Yes, it is.
Crazy.
Yeah,
he's good.
But okay, so I'm with you 1,000%. Okay, but if you're thinking about these teams, like you're talking about the Lions, the Vikings, the Cowboys that are expected to do well, right? But think about how many franchises have struggled for so long. They just all they're hoping to do is make the playoffs. This is brilliant for them. So you're saying Dak Prescott, same guy. You know what? how much money would Dak Prescott get on some of these teams that haven't made the playoffs in forever?
The same. They'll pay him again, and they'll be mad as hell like
them.
them.
It's worth it for them. They're not trying to win Super Bowls right now.
Oh,
they're trying to make the playoffs.
Okay, Arthur Smith is, he definitely, or Arthur Blank definitely, I think obviously they're the ghosts of the 28-3, right? So they're trying to kind of turn that around. If Kirk does it for them, I mean, God bless them. I mean, if the Falcons knock the Packers out of the playoffs, I'm good with that. Although I don't know if the Packers are going to be in the playoffs this year.
What?
Call that?
Come on.
All right, let's just go quick thoughts. Obviously we know schedule. We know the teams, we don't know the schedule. Always want a quick touch point now that we know my guy's been traded. Tony, expectations, 4 or 5 wins, 3 wins, 1 win. Where are you thinking here?
I mean, look, there's so much that's up in the air. Like I said, I think the Vikings will be good enough to not be an easy out, but they're not going to be a playoff team next year. They're going to be somewhere in between. I like to give ranges. I would say they're going to be somewhere in the floor is probably 5 wins, ceiling's probably 8 wins.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. 5 days. Okay. I can see that. Trevor, are we out? 7th letter, are we out on the Vikings?
Oh yeah. We ain't worried about the Vikings this year. Nah, not with Sam Darnold. I'm good.
Yeah.
Except against us. Sam Darnold, like I said last week, Sam Darnold has beat the Lions' ass every time he's played. Like blew us out. He does have
Aaron Jones though.
Aaron Jones like to fumble. I ain't worried about Aaron Jones. He just every time he played us, he fumbles. Like, we ain't worried about Aaron Jones. I'm worried about Justin Jefferson. And if he gets into the end zone, you're in trouble. But if you let him get all those yards and keep him out the end zone, you can beat him. That's it. That's all. I think Addison is good too. But Justin Jefferson is such an amazing specimen. Like, he's so open. Like, he'll just get the ball and phase everybody else out. So that's how the Vikings are easy to beat. Now, if any chance that quarterback becomes any type of mobile, the Vikings could be a little scary. But that's why the Dobbs shit looked a little scary for a minute. Like, I think O'Connell saw it like, oh man, with some mobility, we a whole different team back here at quarterback. So he didn't look too happy either. When they was talking with him and Quazy was up there at that press conference, he didn't look happy, shaking his head. He was Sam Darnold, man. Darnold.
Tony, you don't think that a rookie quarterback would start? Because I mean, this could be almost like like a Justin Fields situation. What would happen to him's rookie year? I mean, you think that JJ or rookie quarterback is going to sit for the whole year?
No, I think if it push comes to shove, I think no matter what, unless barring injury, I just don't. I would say there's only about and again, this is my opinion, I think there's about a 15% chance that a rookie starts the season. I think there's probably about a 40% chance the rookie finishes the season, but I'm talking maybe the last 2-3 games.
Yeah. You got to learn in the NFL as quarterback, you have to get real game experience. And that's why I kept, giving Jordan Love a hard time before last year. Cause I mean, you just never know. I mean, and you have to just see how it is in real time. So I want to Rev Trev here. All right. Packers. Are you still on the playoff train? Definitely coming. Right? Or are you okay?
Yeah, I think we're going to win the division.
Oh, okay.
And it's not going to be easy, but I think we're going to win the division. I think it's going to be a bloodbath in the NFC, especially if Caleb Williams pans out and whatever the Vikings quarterback turns out. I think this could be a great division. It's going to be fun to watch. But I'm with the way we're young and we've developed and we've drafted well so far. I think the future's bright. I think Detroit's legit. They're legitimately good. They are worrisome. I was just really pumped how we came back after getting our butts kicked in the first game. I'd really like to see in our fight in the second game. We made the adjustments and found a way to win. So I think that it's going to be the Lions and Packers fighting it out for that division title, and it's going to be exciting football. So at this stage, I feel like we're going to find a way to just be a little bit better and get there. But I wouldn't be sad if we were second in division and made the playoffs either. So,
do you think the defense is going to be a little bit better or a lot better? Or, I mean, obviously, Packers fans have been wanting Joe Barry gone for a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But is it going to take a little bit of time to adjust, though? That's why, I wonder about that.
I don't think it's going to take. They have a lot of months to get ready. So I think his system, with the players we have, is going to work. The only thing that we have to do well is we have to draft the right defensive players that can fit the scheme and play now. If we do that, then that defense is going to be really crazy. I think McKinney is an absolute stud. I still can't believe we got him. He's a difference maker. He changes the game, turnovers. Man, he's a ball hawk in my opinion. So that alone, but it depends on who we get at middle linebacker or inside linebacker, I should say. It's probably the better way. I think we're going to get another corner or possibly another safety, like Cooper DeJean. Is that right, from Iowa?
DeJean, yep.
Yeah, that's DeJean. I like him a lot. Imagine if we got him at our first pick. I'm like, I like that kid. He could ball out. So all of a sudden you got two ball hawks back there. That can really help. So I love the change of defensive coordinator, and so there's still some question marks for us, I want to say. But I think we're going to be ready.
I think, I am a little scared of Lucas Van Ness in his second year. I mean, because he didn't play a lot at Iowa, and so I think now just kind of like he's starting to grow. I mean, he had some nice plays, I think, last year, so he's going to be a beast, I think.
Yeah, I think in that when it was like a play he had and just his acceleration at that size, like he is a freak athletically. Oh man, he just like just one of those kind of Packer players that you're like, who is this? And did he get on the field? Did they scheme him up right? And it's a problem for years to come. So I know the Packers are going to be good. I actually said that last year before the season. I said, it's us and them. I knew it. Like, it just is what it is. They got too much. They had the most experienced defense in our division. I knew that would keep him in a lot of games. And then when Jordan Love got going, it got ugly. So it's unfortunately, like, they ain't going nowhere no time soon, because that team is, all of them is in kindergarten. What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And they all babies over there. They ain't even pay nobody yet. That's what's crazy. So they got them for years, at least 3 more years of just aggravation and wide open dobs and shit. Like just a whole bunch of just. And we coming up on, we got to start paying people soon, so they might jump ahead. So I don't know.
Well, let's talk about the Lions then. You're still on your drinking Kool-Aid, right?
Yeah, 14-3. Word up.
14-3. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm giving away 2 of those games because I know we're gonna play around and think we good and all that, and mess around and lose to the Seahawks and probably like the Green Bay once or something like that. But other than that, I ain't too worried.
Tony, I wanted to ask you this because there were some Viking fans. I don't know if it was Shelby or Craig that were talking about ill will toward the Lions possibly making the Super Bowl because they didn't want the Lions to win or get to the Super Bowl before the Vikings. I mean, are you on that same train, or are you able to drink some Kool-Aid if the Lions start to do well?
Yeah, no, I was pulling for the Lions last year.
Okay.
I was disappointed when they lost on the playoffs. Look, as a tortured fan myself, when you see a franchise rise up, you're like, look, I can't really hate on that. So yeah, for me, no, not at all. I had no problem being just a guest in their bus of fans when they were on their playoff runs. So when they're playing my team, I'm gonna have a problem. But when they're not playing us, I have no problem with them winning. And I wish them the best luck. I think the biggest thing with the Lions, from my perspective, is like any team that has a track record of let's just face it, not being great, is that it's consistency. And if we're going to be charitable to our Packer friend here, the Packers, if nothing else, have been a model of consistency pretty much ever since the Favre era. Things they like to forget about the 2 decades before that, but
I wasn't born.
Since then, well, just forget they
Before
existed
that.
because they were horrible. They were the Cleveland Browns of the NFC. It's a franchise that's established a winning culture. I think the biggest hurdle for the Lions is going to be how do they deal with being a good team? Because there's a lot of teams that have had 1 or 2 good years. I mean, shit, the Cleveland Browns looked pretty good for a couple of years. But the fact of the matter is that it's doing it year after year, and you're going to have some blips here and there, but being more consistent. And honestly, as an outsider, even in the division, I hope they find that ground. I'd rather have my team face a good Lions team and hopefully claim victory than wish ill will on that franchise. I hope they do well.
He's a better man than me. He's a better man than me.
Speaking of a good team, Bears then, and Trevor, I'm going to give you the shot right here to start. What do you think with Caleb? What is the possibility for wins and losses? Obviously, you're not expecting them to be up there with the Bears, with the Lions and the Packers. Where are you at right now that we know that Fields is gone?
Well, my personal opinion is they wholeheartedly believe that they have upgraded their quarterback. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, and I know that it's all about game experience, if he's actually good, I think the Bears are going to be the sneaky play. I think the Bears are going to be working hard and beating people that people wouldn't have guessed that they would beat. It all depends if he can have the chemistry and get his rhythm and not touch the ball every time right before he throws it, and all those little things. I think if he lives up to this hype, we're talking about a very, very surprising Bears team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make the wild card. That wouldn't surprise me at all. It would suck personally because I just don't like them winning. But at the same time, so Andy, we talked about this 2 years ago.
Yeah,
we knew the Bears were going to suck, and I told you that. You told me that.
Yeah.
All you need to do is have 1 extra year where you're decent, which you were last year. 7 wins, nothing to sniff at. If they get 2 more wins, they're potentially a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get to that stage, it takes 3 years to turn a franchise around the NFL if you do it right. Right now, the Bears are on the trajectory to do that. Now it all depends. I think that Caleb Williams is going to be good. That's what I think. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping his ego or whatever, I don't know what it is, doesn't work out, but I think he's going to be good. Yeah. And then if you have a good quarterback, what else do you need? You've got everything else that's kind of piecing around.
Well, speaking of, we got Average Cheese weighing in here. Obviously,
my boy, what's up, man?
He is Fields being traded for a pair of socks hurts his soul. Well, literally soul. All right, that's a dad joke. All right, but So you're thinking 9 wins then, Trevor? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going with 6. I'm going with 6, man. I see 10 losses.
You think they're going to regress?
No. If 6, so that means 11 losses. So we got 17 games.
Oh, my bad.
Right?
My bad. I see 7 and 10. Yeah.
7 and 11, right?
Dale from Average Cheese really sticking it in here.
He coming for your throat.
He likes you though. How about that? He likes why the Lions fans are getting all the love. What about the Bears fans here?
That's my boy, man. You know I love that guy.
Dude, I just said you were going to get 9 wins. I don't know what else you want me to say.
10 wins in playoffs. Come on,
10 and 7 wins. I can say 9.
Put your schedule back up there, Andy. Put your schedule. I'm gonna tell you who's gonna lose.
Okay, listen.
All right.
So I just said 9 wins. I'm surprised you're even sitting there right now.
Minnesota.
You should be falling on the floor, going, "Oh my goodness, he's actually drinking the Kool-Aid."
Minnesota, Jags, Titans, Patriots, Panthers.
All right, so
okay, 7. I see 7 wins.
7. Okay, I went through and I think I have 11 wins here.
Yeah, you got yourself beating the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, Cardinals for sure.
I don't know. I just think that little guy gonna give you a headache, man. That little guy,
Murray. No, he's done.
Best case scenario, you split with us, right? Best case scenario,
I did say split.
Detroit.
Yep.
He ain't splitting with us this year, man.
I'm just saying that's the best case
with our
scenario.
defense. Oh yeah, absolutely.
That don't matter. Y'all caught us on a rainy day. If it's a sunny day in Chicago, we win. If it's a sunny day. Now, if it rains,
Caleb likes the sun. Caleb likes the sun.
I ain't worried about Caleb, man. Caleb gonna break that team up with his attitude.
Okay, so you're gonna beat the Jags. You're probably gonna beat the Titans.
I actually
you're probably gonna beat the Panthers and the Patriots. So that's 4 games right there.
That's 4.
You're going to beat the Cardinals. That's 5.
5.
Colts, I can see you beating the Colts.
I can't.
Commanders is 6. And if you split against us, that's now 8. And then you have to beat the Rams.
I can see Matthew carving that up. I can see Matt carving that up.
Minnesota.
So I think I had us beating
Minnesota split.
I think I had a sweep in Minnesota. Minnesota they're rebuilding. I do have
man. You really 10, 11 wins. You're that much better than Minnesota? I mean, I don't know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They got a better defense than Minnesota, and
Bears have a better defense. The quarterbacks are set.
But Minnesota has better weapons, offensive weapons.
Minnesota got
quarterback
weapons.
Matters though, right? Quarterback matters.
It's the exact same situation. You're hoping a rookie quarterback pans out.
He's not a rookie. He is John Elway.
Talking about Darnold. He's not going to play long. He's going to play 2 games, and you're going to put a quarterback in.
John Elway is coming in.
I understand, Tony. What Tony's saying is right. They should let him sit and let him, understand it.
No,
that's not how it works.
He's playing.
I'm going to play him because you know what? Winning matters.
Yeah, he's playing.
1,000% right.
Yeah, it's either him or the arm wrestler father. On the arm wrestler son, man.
The imposter.
The arm wrestler son.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Darnold is not a starting quarterback, and this is ridiculous. Ridiculous to think that he's going to do anything. That's why Tony's saying they're not going to win because he knows that they're going to play Darnold a lot, right, Tony? Like, am I wrong?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to put your rookie quarterback in. You're going to let him ball out.
He's going to play.
That's how he's got to learn, right? I think
over under on how many games Darnold plays this year.
I'd be confident. I would be confident at an over under at an 11.5.
Ooh.
Playing the whole game. I'm giving them 4.
Damn. I think that's. They were willing to put up with Josh Dobbs for like 4 games. And I hate to say it.
If Darnold doesn't start the season, that's what I'm saying. That's how bad Sam Darnold is.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So, I think the Bears and the Vikings are at interesting points, right? I think so. You wonder about the GM and the coach. Are they on shaky ground or are they on solid ground? I would say that the Viking, obviously, Kevin O'Connell was a good coach. I think everyone would say that. Obviously, there are questions about Kwesi, right? But I think even if the Vikings don't win this year, Kwesi's not going to get fired, right? Right, Tony?
He should be.
I don't think so, but things could get really. I mean, if the house is on fire, it might have to happen. But I think it would take a lot.
Okay, so on the flip side with the Bears, I think this is, well, especially if Eberflus, if the Bears don't get 9-10 wins, get the playoffs, people are going to be, including me, are going to be pretty pissed off. Like this is, when you talk about even a rookie quarterback coming into one of the best situations, you got Keenan Allen, you got DJ Moore, you got a top 5 tight end Cole Kmet, you got Gerald Everett, and then the defense.
Dang, he put
I'm going to be
top
expecting wins. I'm going to be with my notepad and I'm going to be looking at every single play. Oh, you better win. You better win. So that's sorry. Did I mute you, Trev? We can't hear you. But we're going to be expecting wins, and I think for Eberflus to keep his job, he needs wins. Maybe even Ryan Poles does, and maybe that's why they did this. They need some wins. They need something.
Ryan Poles put some good groceries on the table, man. Ryan Poles
agree.
did everything he was supposed to do. It's that Eberflus that had no business being there. They should have got rid of him and Justin Fields together and started.
So that's the thing. So I think the Bears need wins. The Bears are a different spot than the Vikings. The Vikings can take their time and develop the quarterback, which obviously you're supposed to do. So I can see you're where I was a couple years ago, Tony, with, okay, I understand you got to rebuild this. It's going to take time, and that's okay. I mean, Trevor, did you have some points that
I'm just saying that Kmet is not a top 5 tight end. That is absolutely
look at the stats. Everybody's telling me the stats. Look at the stats.
No, he's
Everyone
not.
said, look at the field stats. Look at the stats.
I like him, but he ain't top 5.
Come on,
stats don't lie.
You can name
stats. Don't lie. That's what I've been told for Jordan Love. Stats don't lie. Look at the stats. Look at him.
What are the stats?
Says he's a top 5 tight end. Look at him.
Come on, I'm about to look now.
He didn't even play the whole year.
Cole Kmet is a top 5 tight end. Look it up.
They're only receiver.
While we're looking it up, let's end the show.
Okay, but what I'm saying is this: your argument for
top 5,
Caleb Williams being surrounded by talent is the same argument that whatever rookie quarterback for the Vikings is. In fact, I would say that the Vikings have better offensive weapons than the Bears do, right? You got Addison, you got Hawkinson, you got Jefferson, you got Aaron Jones. You do not have better players than that on the Bears. I'm sorry.
DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, he's good. He's not better than Aaron Jones.
Top 5.
Packer fans have been telling me Aaron Jones is terrible. So
he's amazing.
No.
All right, he got
the same disease DeAndre Swift got. He always hurt.
They troll you back.
Okay, so I love this point. So Trevor, then why don't the Bears just trade down to 4 and take JJ McCarthy then?
That's what I've been telling you. If you're not going to take Caleb Williams, you should be trading down, getting more draft capital, and making your team better. But the point is they believe that Caleb Williams is better than Justin Fields, so they're going after Caleb Williams, and then they're going to do that. I wouldn't be opposed to them trading down if you're thinking some of these other quarterbacks are close.
Well, no, that wasn't the point I was making. And Tony, you're a JJ McCarthy guy. He's no Caleb Williams, correct?
No.
Skill set's different, but yeah.
Okay.
I think this is my thing. I think that when you come into the league with that much hype, I don't even care if you're not talking about it. It's just you come in with that much hype. The problem is he's also talking about it on top of it. Do you know how much defensive linemen are going to be salivating to knock him out of the game? They are waiting for welcome to the NFL moments with that kid.
Yeah.
And the problem is with that kind of attitude, how's he going to respond? Is he going to pick up, tuck in his lip and go, okay, let's make it happen? Or is he going to pout? Because if he pouts, boy, you're in for a long ride on that one.
Well, so that's what also Jalen Johnson had said in his quote. He talked about that's why, let's see, they're going to push him in practice because if trash talk crumbles him, then they want to find that out. And so that's what I'm worried about. But everybody says he is the best thing since football was invented. So we will see. I may be on board eventually with Caleb, but I see your point, Trev, that, you know, the Vikings do have a good talent, but, you know, JJ McCarthy, I mean, he is.
It's fine. It's fine. I understand that. I'm just saying that if we're talking about the 49ers have the last pick and they surround him with talent and he could, that's where the Bears actually have a real advantage. You're not talking about picking the last guy. Even the Vikings, you're not talking about picking Mr. Irrelevant and fluking out. You're talking about a first-round pick. A first-round pick, a top. Well, you guys you're gonna consider the number 1 pick in the draft. The Vikings, if they trade down, let's say for argument's sake, the Vikings get the 4th best quarterback in the draft. That should bode well. I don't care who it is, as long as he's the 4th best guy, he's going to be way better than Brock Purdy should ever have been, right? So there's a possibility both these franchises could have turned their franchises around quick. Like what if JJ McCarthy turns out to be better than we all think? Right? I mean, that's
what all the scouts are saying right now.
I'd be surprised.
I know, but were you surprised about Brock Purdy? I was.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
I think like after a few, I think during this season, I think I just underestimated him because of his draft stock, you know, where he was picked up at. But Trey Lance didn't last, and he was a higher selection. I mean, it has to be something, you know, upstairs, you know, that he's missing that Brock Purdy has. And I don't know if I don't know much about Trey Lance to say if he was in the books like Brock Purdy was, but I know he didn't have that chip on his shoulder and it didn't look like it. Matter of fact, the 49ers lost to the Bears with that bump. You know what I'm saying? So it was I don't know. Brock Purdy surprised me, but he is better than I thought, but he's still not that good.
Yeah. So if you just can't have JJ McCarthy become Mac Jones, that's what you can't do. Right?
That's true.
Is JJ McCarthy going to be better than Mac Jones? If he is, then you could have a really quick turnaround in Minnesota.
Well, the knock on Mac Jones was Mac Jones is not an athlete by no stretch of the imagination. JJ McCarthy is a much better athlete. So what Mac can't do with his legs, JJ McCarthy can. He's a lot more mobile than Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a statue, not the strongest arm. He's not much. He just was good on that Alabama team.
But if we replace the name McCarthy and you give them Daniels, right? There's a whole new.
Now, Jaden Daniels with the Vikings is a little scary.
I love that.
That's a little scary. But I think he'll be gone by then because I don't think any of those top 3 teams are going to trade. All 3 of those top 3 teams need a quarterback. So, I mean, I think Bo Nix or Michael Penix is a lot more, you know, realistic for the Vikings.
Okay.
You know.
So you don't like JJ McCarthy, right?
No, I've seen him play. I watch him play.
What I'm saying is you like Penix better than McCarthy. What if they get Penix?
Then it's different. That's different. I don't
think it's sold out that McCarthy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if JJ McCarthy slips into the 2nd round. I would not be surprised. Could be. He comes from that program, that Michigan program, where it's going to be a lot of fanfare and a lot. But the scouts know what he is, and if you watch the game, I don't see it. After the Ohio State and Georgia game, all right, this guy might have something. What's the quarterback for the Texans?
CJ
Stroud. Yeah. Like Stroud was like regular before that, but when he played against Georgia, the best team in the nation, and played so well, he's something. He's worth a top number 1 draft pick. He's a good quarterback. I ain't never see that from JJ McCarthy. Now I've seen him get a couple first downs with his legs. I've seen it, but with his arm, it's just not impressive. I haven't seen it. I don't think he sees the field that well either. And I think that'll be another Justin Fields situation where the guy holds the ball. He's going to be kind of, you know, in the pocket, just getting hit and beat up, and his confidence to get killed. He doesn't seem like the most confident guy. I mean, he'll do what you tell him, but I don't I just don't see it. I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if he slips to the second. I doubt it because of his age, but nah.
So I did want to amend something I said earlier. I did look it up. Obviously, depends where you look at. Cole Kmet, depending on rankings, fftoday.com has him 7th with stats from 2023. So Hockenson 4th and Laporta 1st. So hey,
who first? The guy said that was better than Hockenson. That's
Sam
right.
Laporta. Sam Laporta. So okay. But my point is Kmet is top tight end. He's up there.
10. 10. Say it. You said 5. 10.
He's 7. He's top 7 tight end. Top 7. Take it.
So sorry, did you say I was right that he's not a top 5? Is that what you're saying?
Fine. Yes, fine. You're right. You're right, Trev.
Who's before him? Who's 6?
Evan Engram.
Who's 5?
David Njoku. So
there's no Kelsey in that conversation.
Kelsey's 3, Kittle 2.
Where's Andrews?
He's way down at. He was injured, so he's way down at 12.
Yeah, he got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt.
Okay, so I'm talking about what we're going to do this year, not. Okay.
Oh, well then, yeah. I mean, Kmet.
Then Cole Kmet's going to be 12?
No, he's going to be like 2 probably, especially with Superman as a quarterback. So
does Caleb Williams throw to the tight end?
He's going to throw to everybody. He's going to be 4,000 yards.
Damn, man, you came
30
around.
touchdowns.
Yeah, he's not there. This is a show. This is
I'll get there. I'll get there.
He is not there. He's going to talk himself into it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to talk myself into it. I'm still.
I like Kmet. I just don't like him as much as you do.
Kmet's solid. So, all right. Well, this has been
a
a solid.
Better than your tight ends, Trevor.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Man,
yes.
I think the future's bright, bro.
We're trying to get him going, and we've already gone about an hour 20 here, $1:20. All right. Well, this has been a great episode. Thanks for joining us again. Tony, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, X, at Steggy Stories. You can find me on, I think I forgot to mention this, TikTok, Steggy Stories. And then I'm on the Skol Purple Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts.
Like, subscribe, all great stuff coming. Great stuff. Find out about the Vikings. And where can everyone find you, Trevor?
Rev Trev NFL on YouTube, Facebook, X, and TikTok. And if the Bears offered us Cole Kmet for Musgrave, I would push reject. In Madden, in real life, I'm just telling you that right now.
What about Kraft?
Oh,
I like Kraft too. Yeah, he's good. The good news is we have them both.
If they can stay on the field.
Good point.
Person who always stays on the field. Where can everyone find you? 7th letter. Oh,
I like that.
He's gonna drop it.
He just broke it. He's got his trophy. Drop the trophy.
You can find me on top of the NFC North on Twitter, X, 7th letter 4. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at same OG.
All good stuff. Is that Barry Sanders?
No, this is Aiden Hutchinson. Cam Sutton.
I was saying, is that Cam Sutton? Before he disappeared, he signed your helmet.
Did he drop that off on his way out of town?
Jerry Jacobs and a whole bunch of other guys that don't play for us no more.
He stopped by your house, signed it, and then left.
Where can we find you, Andy?
You can find me on NFL Outdated on Twitter, X, on YouTube, and Freezin 4 Pod on the TikTok. Thanks again, everybody. Once again, this has been Freezin 4 NFC North Podcast. Great stuff tonight. Have a good night, and we'll catch you next week.